Hey everyone, Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel, Never Out of Books. Today I'm doing for you a top rated books that I own video. I found this video pretty difficult to pull together because most of the books that were in the top rated were series books, and that kind of skews things a little bit because obviously books in a series are going to get a higher rating because the people that are reading them are ones that like that series. And I also found there were a few books on the list that didn't have very many ratings for whatever reason. So I put a couple of rules on here. The books I'm going to show you are either first book in series or standalones, and they have to have greater than 500 ratings. So that took just like a couple books off of this that were kind of very obscure. And I'm also going to put out there again that these are books that I own. I will do a separate list of books that I have just randomly on my TBR that I'd like to read, but that'll be at another time. To get 10 books that met this criteria, I had to go down at least 30 to 40, somewhere in between that, of my top books. So I will just show you the series that were most mentioned. Not surprising, I think almost every book but the first book of the Throne of Glass series was mentioned in the top 20 of highest ratings. And a bit more on the surprising side were the last two books in the Frontline series, which is an alternate history, and both in the top 20. So just like a mentioning of those series, I mean, one you might have thought about that would be there, which is the Throne of Glass, but also that other series, which I was a little surprised by. So here we go. Counting down, the 10th highest rated book with an average rating of 4.32 on Goodreads is Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. And this is the newest book that is on this list. Obviously, this is a brand new release. It is a historical fiction, young adult novel, and she tends to pick very obscure parts of history that people don't know about. So I'm interested to get to this pretty soon. This was, I think, released in October of this year, so not very long ago, and already it has very excellent ratings, obviously. Number 9 with 4.31 average rating on Goodreads is Still Alice by Lisa Genova. And this is about a brilliant woman who is diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease, and what happens, and her family and her, and how everyone copes with this. This is going to give me feelings. I probably will not get to this anytime soon, but I got it in a book box at one point, and my family read it and really loved it, and so it's obviously on my radar to read at some point, just not right now. At number 8 with a 4.32 rating as well is The Military Wife by Laura Trentham. And this is a debut that came out obviously February of this year. And this is, I want to say, a woman's fiction. It came in a book box that had more of the romance sort of books in it, I believe. Obviously it's on my radar to read. I still have it on my shelf. And knowing that it got such great ratings kind of makes me want to read it a little bit sooner. Number 7, also with a 4.32 average rating on Goodreads. I don't have down here, it's in my daughter's room and I forgot to get it. All Creatures Great and Small by James Herriot. It is a autobiography or biography of a veterinarian in England a bit long time ago. I definitely have that on my radar to read, but there might be animal death, which I am not a fan of. So again, another one that's not high up on my list, but is on my list of things that I should probably read. It is also considered a classic at this point. So It's on my classic reading list at least. Number 6 at a whopping 4.34 rating on Goodreads is another classic, Exodus by Leon Uris. This is my grandmother's copy. My grandmother tells me that this book changed her life. I've had it since I was a teenager. I believe I started reading it once, but as I'm looking at the back of the book, because I don't even really know what it's about other than some form of Exodus, it probably was not up to reading this book as a teenager. It seems like it has a pretty deep subject matter. But it is still on my shelf, and I would love to read it at some point. Maybe it'll change my life too. Number 5, with a 4.36 rating on Goodreads, is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khalid Hosseini. I read The Kite Runner a long time ago, thought it was excellent. But again, this is more of a book that's not quite in my genre to read and will require extra effort to pick up because it may be unpleasant. And I prefer to read pleasant books. If you've been around my channel enough, you know that. But obviously on my shelf, and I probably should read it sooner rather than later because it's kind of embarrassing. I haven't read that yet. Number 4 with a 4.37 rating on Goodreads is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. And no, I have not read it yet. I did start it, but I have not made any progress. I actually started it on audiobook with my daughter, and we just kind of stopped reading it and didn't get back into it. Yeah, so this one might actually be on my reading list for next year. We'll see. Number 3 with a 4.36 also rating is a very weird one, I'll give you that, but Prairie Heat by Tessa Lane. I have this on Kindle, so I'm just showing it to you on my phone because it's convenient, and this is a romance novel. It's contemporary Western romance. Other than that, I don't know anything about it, and it is the first book in a series. Number 2, with a 4.52 rating on Goodreads. It's a whopper of a book and a whopper of a rating, and it is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. This is a fantasy. The second book is out. It is huge, and he has not finished it yet, the last book, which means I'm not picking this book up anytime soon. I'll tell you that straight out. I don't care what the ratings are. I want a finished series. Thank you very much. Or at least a hint that it could potentially be finished, because I'm not good at that cliffhangery stuff. So, whopper of a book, whopper of a rating, and people have been waiting a whopper of a long time to conclude this series. And drum roll please. The top rated book that I own with a 4.65 average rating on Goodreads. It's a big one, ladies and gents. It is The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. He writes some fantastic fantasy. I don't know if this series is completed or not, but this book is over 1,200 pages. And me and big books don't always mix, but Brandon Sanderson is absolutely fantastic. So here it is, my top rated book. If you all have any thoughts or comments or anything about this list or books that you think I should get to this coming year that you think are totally worth it on this list, or if you have surprise or any of those things, please feel free to comment down below with anything you'd like. And I will talk to you again later with my least rated books. Bye.